I'm Snehasis, and today in this video we will be talking about how to create a simple rule using Nected. So to create a simple rule, you may or may not have a database, first of all. But if you have a database, let me introduce you how you can integrate that database in Nected. So come to this section, integration, and here you can select any of the database, any of these three database you are using. So I have used PostgreSQL. Now if I click here, now here you can see two options, that is staging and production. That is basically if you want to make it live in production level, you can use this. But first, by default, you need to add all the details here in the staging. You need to test connection and you need to publish in staging. Then you can do the same in production as well. Like here, the first thing is needed is the name of the connector. That means this name we will use throughout this Nected. The host is provided by the database server. The port is also written in the database server. The username is the actual username that we're using in the database. And same for the password and the database. After doing this, you need to first test the connection. If the connection is successfully tested, then you can publish in production. Now, after published it in production, as I have already done it, so it is connected, you need to come to the dataset. Now, if you need to add some more logic, some more SQL code, you can do that from here. You can see that I have already published this as well to make it easily understandable to you. So here you can write in SQL query to make the database more precise to create the rule. For example, you can add some logic, some SQL logic, like you can write some code for joining, and you can use pretty much anything you want. So I have written a simple code, simple SQL code to select all the database, to connect all the database, and I will use the complete database in the rule creation. That's why I have written this. So first I need to execute the node, and if the node is executed, you need to publish it. Okay, so here is a settings option. Here you can set the row limit, that the maximum row you can integrate in Nected, the cache and the time to expire. So here everything is set up. So I will not go into deeper in this. Now after the dataset has been created, uh, by the way, you can create dataset from here by connecting the connectors we have already discussed. Now, coming to the rules section, I need to create rules. So I will go to create rule. Now see, here are three options. One is simple rule, one is decision table, and one is rule set. So in this video, we will only talk about simple rule, how to create the simple rule. And in the next tutorials, we will talk about the decision table and the rule set. So first, select simple rule. Yeah, here I need to first give the simple rule a name. Let's say give it a name of greenhouse, censoring, and a description. A simple rule based on greenhouse censoring data. Okay. So now I need to first add source. Now here is an interesting thing. Nectar provides you two things. Like one is custom attributes and one is dataset. For example, you are creating a simple rule, but you don't need to integrate any dataset. Then you can simply select custom. That is the custom attribute. If you do this, you can simply click on next. You can add some fields, like I will do, let's say, sensor name. I'm making it as string. I'm making it as case sensitive. I can make it can be null or can be optional. So let's select three of them. Now, next, add some more custom fields. Some more custom fields that like number of test. Let's make it numeric, and let's keep only two attributes, and I can click on save. Now I can create any rule using these two as well. Like make sensor name can be any, okay, and make and give a property name like number of tests. Let's make it between 1 to 100. Okay. Now let's add a data that is make it string, that is success. Add a string here, make it failure. Okay, sorry, let's make it fail. Okay, so now I can make it null and don't save any attribute, and I can make it 90. Now test it. See, it is successful. Uh, because I have set the sensor name any, that means it can be null, it can be not null. That doesn't make any change in the output. So I can close it. Now let's add source from the database I have created, from the data set I have created just now. So I will click on next. I will add only the sensor ID. Sensor ID. Now see, if I'm connecting a data set uh, from a database, then I don't need to connect all the attributes here. I just need to connect the only primary attribute. That means the primary key in that database. So I will just add that thing. So I will import from database, from the dataset greenhouse, and I will connect it like sensor ID. Now I will not do anything else here. I will click on just save. Now, see the beauty. I will add a group. I will add a property here from the sensor ID. That means from the greenhouse dataset. So I will add humidity. Now let's make the humidity between. Let's enter the value. I can, by the way, add a JavaScript, a custom JavaScript formula as value. But here I'm going to just add the humidity from the database and to the humidity from the database. I can set anyone like this. I can make it as a value like 26 or anything else, but I am selecting as humidity. So what it will do, basically, it will check the database and it will check that the input I'm giving in the testing is present in the database or not. Basically, that's it. And I can add some more conditions like, let's say, and let's give a property here that is temperature. Let's give it between, make it 25 to 26. Add another condition that is the light intensity. Let's make it exist. Okay. So I have created another rule, and here I will add an action this time. So what is an action basically? Let's say I'm making this rule and I want to edit the database after clicking that action. So I can do that by clicking that action. So I will update the database here using a simple SQL code. I've written that code here as well. So I will select, I will copy, just copy, and I will go to here. I'll paste it here, and I will save it. Okay. So now let's paste. So the sensor name, what I have set it, the sensor name can be any. Okay, so I can make it null, and I can not send this. So let's make it 90, and I'll make the first sensor ID. Okay, so now let's test it. Okay, so it is success. That means we have got an output, and also the actions has been executed. So we have successfully updated the database as well. Now I can close it from here, and now you see the rule status is actually tested. That means our rule is already being tested. Now I will simply click on publish, and now it is published. It is now live. Okay, so there may be some glitch. I'll just reload it, and let's got this one. Okay, just now reload it. Okay, and let's see. Maybe I have done something wrong. Let's test it again. Number of tests is 90, number of sensor ID is 1, and let's make it null. Don't set the attribute. Let's test it now. Okay, now it is successfully executed, and the actions have been also incorporated. So now I will close it. I will publish this. Okay, the rule is now published. Okay, now it has been done. Now, if I need to integrate it into my system. So what I need to do is I need to click on this settings option, the gear option here, and from here I can copy this base URL, that is the API URL. And if I'm writing any code, then I need to use this body params and the figuring API code to integrate into my code base. And if your team is using this API, or you want to restrict the use of this API, then you need to go to private, and you can see the authentication key. That means uh, the authentication key is basically to authenticate to specific user. If they have this authentication key, they can access the API. If they don't have this, they simply cannot access this API. Now, in my case, I have generated few API authentication keys. In your case, if this has not been generated, then you can click on simply generate key, and a new key will be generated like this. So that's all. That's how you can create a simple rule using Nected. And if I click on view live option, then you can see the live version of my simple rule. And if you have done something terribly wrong in creating this rule, you can just simply click on this reload button, and it will do, it will just revert the previous published version, the latest published version, like this. So the rule is now reverted in the live version, right? So that's how you can simply create a simple rule using Nected. So thank you for being with me. I hope this tutorial helped you. So thank you.